So before I go over to Royston, Patricia is one of our directors of the Garvey Village, and Patricia is going to say a few words. Thank you, Patricia. Would you like to introduce yourself, and the screen is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Auntie Jean, and greetings, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. As Auntie Jean has said, it's our 5th session, Zoom session, and I'm really pleased that we're able to continue to meet or gather in this manner. Hopefully, when the lockdown is lifted, we'll be able to meet face to face and hug and kiss each other and say, you know, greetings in front of each other. I don't know how many of you are aware of the Garvey Village and what your connection or commitment or interest has been up to now, but we've been going for about 3 years now, Jean?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And the idea is to have somewhere for us as African heritage people to meet, to gather, to learn, to share, to commune with each other in whatever way is important for us at the time. We have identified facilities in Catford, and we are working towards fundraising to be able to access the facilities. It's a place where it will be for all generations, all, you know, children right through to adults, the elderly, to share, as I've said before, in terms of whatever it is that we need to do. And I'm really glad that people on the Zoom or the webinar will be able to share their expertise, share their professionalism, and that we will be able to deliver these services again once the Garvey Village is up and running. So that's my commitment and that's my interest, and we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And Royston, if you let everybody know the rules and the guide us through the muting of the mics and what order we get.
Well, I've actually done an 18-point steps around how to manage yourself in and around Zoom, which I won't go through now, but it's important. The principal thing is to keep yourself muted when you are not speaking, because the slightest shuffle of anything gets carried as a sound, gets carried as a sound. And because you're in your own space and used to your own sound, you have no idea how it reflects on others. So so the ideal is to keep yourself muted, please, and that's the principal thing. And what we aim for is somebody would speak and then we would ask a question. You know, we're not looking for a speaker riding on the back of the speaker. We want the people to be able to ask that speaker question. If you have something to say that you consider to be important, we will put you on. We will give you a slot. We will give you a time to be able to say that. And not, you know, protocol is not about piggybacking on somebody else. And what would also be great is that at the bottom of your screen is a chat. And if we can get your email addresses, then we will maintain contact with you, you know, beyond this chat room, and be able to communicate so that you are always in line with all that we are seeking to do in Garvey Village. It is about us and for us. So let's keep in touch and build a phenomena that way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Royston. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce my lovely sister, Ngozi. And Ngozi is going to be speaking about the COVID-19, domestic violence, and in the African heritage community. So Ngozi, would you like to introduce yourself? And I'll give you the screen up. Before I introduce you, could everybody make sure you've got your pen, your paper, to ask questions for after the presentation, please, and have some water for hydration. So my sis, Ngozi, the screen is now yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Greetings, everybody. I first of all have to say, Auntie, that this is the first time, hang on a minute, sorry. This is the first time that I've ever done any kind of collaboration with you without Brother Dougie being part of it, and I really want to bring him into this space today, you know.
Thank you.
So as a, you know, now he's an ancestor, so, you know, libation to him too. And I also want to introduce, for those of you who don't know, Sister Dr. Sandra Richards, who's in this space. But not only is she my blood sister, she's actually a colleague in the Sistah space, domestic abuse charity that we run. So I just wanted to acknowledge her, and hopefully she'll be able to chime in every now and again. And for those of you who don't know, I run the Sistah Space organization. It's a charity that supports African and Caribbean heritage women and girls affected by domestic and sexual abuse. And the reason I have to distinguish that it's Caribbean is that not all of us have accepted that we are of African heritage. And so that I don't leave anybody out, I make sure that I include that. All right, so we're on the battlefield. As African heritage women, we are on the battlefield with this COVID-19 lockdown. And so I'll spend a few minutes just kind of setting the scene for you. At the moment, we are in battle with all the other VWAG sectors, violence against women and girls sectors, the mainstream domestic abuse charities, organizations, statutory and community sectors, because we do not have a voice in our own right. So there we have other people telling us what we need, what to do, where to go, or simply just not dealing with us at all. So we are in a battle, not only with COVID-19, but with the system. So the racism, the discrimination is even more apparent during this COVID-19. We see this with the media, and I actually said to Sister Doctor that at one point I nearly took my TV back, because every time I turned to BBC One or Sky TV, white people are missing it. So I thought maybe black people can't show up on my TV. Let me take it back to Argos. Yeah. But you know how racism works. All right. So part of the biggest problem that we in the sector find is this BAME title that they are forcing on us, this BAME title. So if you would permit me, so that I can make this this brief talk clear, imagine that you have two pots. You have one with white Europeans and one with everybody else. All right. So when you look in this pot, we are in there. Everybody's in there. Even the Asian people are calling themselves black now. It's a whole thing. We don't have time to go into it. But we look at the resources and we look at who's speaking on behalf of us. So when you talk to ministers or you speak to government agencies, we have the BAME sector speaking on our behalf like we don't have a voice for ourselves. So I'm just outlining some of the problems that we are facing during this COVID-19 epidemic. First of all, we have to look at what domestic abuse is, because I heard Auntie and others call it domestic violence. What I try to do is call it domestic abuse, because when we call it domestic violence, certain people say, well, he's not actually hitting me or anything, so maybe that isn't it. So that's why where we can, we use the word abuse, just to clarify. Then we can imagine being stuck in a space. Are we going on 6 weeks, 7 weeks? With what, for the purposes of this talk, we'll call a perpetrator. What does the perpetrator look like? Who's the perpetrator? Most people think it can only be your partner. Your perpetrator can be anybody, yeah? DV, it could be your mother, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your nephew, your ex-partner, so that's who we're looking at. So who is affecting you, who is abusing you, who is unsettling you in your space? And we always have to look at the space as well. Some of us are fortunate. I have quite a big space with enough room, a garden at the front and at the back. But some of our service users are stuck in 2 rooms or even 1 room with many children, and this is the situation. COVID-19 is disproportionately affecting African heritage people. Now they're talking about it. They're forced to talk about it, but they're not doing anything about it. So then can you imagine service users or survivors or victims or whatever they describe themselves as having abuse? Who do they go to? Where do they go? Can we ring up Refuge or Women's Aid? Have you ever been on their website? Nobody on their website looks remotely like any of us, okay? And when we look at the mainstream services and we don't see ourselves reflected, why then would we feel comfortable to go to them? Sometimes I see the odd African heritage woman and girl there, but more than likely she'll be very light skinned with straight hair and the stereotype or the acceptable face, right? I know I don't have to distinguish to the people who are listening because you understand what I'm saying. I don't see nobody that look like me. I don't. Therefore, when I look at these places, I think to myself, well, I can't report anything to them. A, because they're not listening. B, because they don't understand me. C, because they either don't see or hear me. And what they're going to do, they're going to refer us to organizations like South or Black Sisters or any other BAME organization who not only often don't understand us, but oftentimes don't even like us. Let us be honest, because if we can't be honest within our own setting, we're going to really have a problem. So DV, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, can take on many forms. We have the description of it being low risk, medium, and high risk. Now that we're talking about COVID-19, or now that we're talking about being in a situation where you can't go outside freely, we have got so many high risk cases. We have so many people who are affected, can't talk, can't present through the perpetrators in your face. What you're going to do, ring up and call somebody and he's in the room. Therefore, what do you do? As a community, we have a responsibility, therefore. We have a responsibility to keep an eye on each other. And we also have to learn to read between the lines. Not only listen to what is being said, we also have to listen to what is not being said. I'm urging us as family to look, first of all, within our own circle, because domestic abuse can be happening right under your nose and you will not see it. It comes in via the internet, it comes in the house, it comes in from so many different sources. And survivors are very, very good at hiding abuse, very, very good. Some of us can speak from experience, whether personal experience or somebody we know. Most of us know somebody very, very well who is affected by domestic abuse or has been affected by domestic abuse. I'm going to just make one more brief statement and then I'm going to open up for people to ask direct questions. But Sistah Space, which is, as I said, the organization that we founded 5 years ago after the death of Valerie Ford, and I ask you to retain that name in your memory, Valerie Ford, and her 23-month-old daughter, who we'll call RJ. And Valerie had gone to the police because the ex-partner had threatened to burn the house down with her and the children in it. And the police recorded it as a threat to property. So some of you will know that Valerie died as a result of a machete, knife, and screwdriver, and whatever else he could find. And then he went on to kill his own child. So we have to be clear that when we do go to the police, which is very rare, because in the current it's not even current, it's historic, that we'll go to the police and we either won't be believed, we won't be supported, we'll be asked stupid questions like, where's the red mark? We won't be taken seriously. Half the time, we women are seen as men. what, big girl like you? So all of these things that we have to deal with. And so we don't share, and we don't talk, and we just hold it inside. So we need to be thinking about COVID-19 is a unique situation. Sistah Space has been lucky. We have applied to the London Community Fund, and for 3 months we've been allocated 3 additional independent domestic violence advisors, which I am also one. And so as from Monday, we'll be running a round-the-clock 24-hour online service. So we'll have an email, which is not always convenient, but we'll also have a phone line. Now the phone line will be 24 hours, but it will only be like in the nighttime for emergencies. So people can't just ring up at 11 o'clock in the night and say, listen, I'm bored, or, you know, last month this happened. It's for crisis. But the rest of the time, people can phone and let us know there's a problem. And what we have to adapt is, when you phone and you say something that doesn't make sense, we take that as something's not quite right and we act on it. All right, so at this point, I'll just give way and allow questions or anything else. Or if Dr. Richards, if you'd like to add anything as my colleague, then please do. Okay.
So 2 things. There's a question asking for the phone number.
Okay.
And one of the things I've heard is that to train somebody in a situation like that to be able to communicate in a code. So for example, you know, they may say to you on the phone, well, I need to get my red jumper back.
Yes.
As an indication of I'm in a crisis situation. And that could then, you know, be a trigger for somebody to make a phone call, come round, or do something else in support of that individual.
Yeah, so in the COVID-19 situation, it's unlikely that somebody can come round. And sometimes if someone's in trauma because they're in fear, they may not even remember this signal themselves. So what happens usually is someone will say hello, and they'll say, no, thank you. And just to be clear, we'll say, are you in trouble? And the person will say, yes, please, a blue one. So now we're already on alert. And what I'm suggesting is that we all adapt that method, yeah? And what happens, or what you can do, if the person is not near you, or if it's not safe to call back, because sometimes calling back is a dangerous thing to do, because then you alert the perpetrator that the victim has somehow raised an alarm. So what we do, and we are not really, our experiences with mainstream and the police have not been always good ones. In fact, the majority of the time it isn't good. But what we do is, you can ask the police to do something called a welfare check. When they do a welfare check, they just go around. They're trained, so they might say, can I speak to such and such a person on their own, right? And now the police are more trained in domestic abuse, and we work in collaboration with them. So oftentimes you can call us and we'll be the go-between, or we'll actually turn up. We can turn up. We have got 9 volunteers who drive for us and who are available. But when we turn up, we're not turning up to talk to both of them. We're coming to remove the person out of the situation, because the time that I'm going to say a woman, but I know domestic abuse, but the time when a victim, if you will, is in the most danger is at the time they decide to leave the relationship. So if the perpetrator thinks that person is getting ready to go, that's when most serious harm or deaths occur. So we really, in our helpfulness, in us trying to be helpful, we need to think about so many things that we probably wouldn't think about. So what we need to do at a later date is do a Zoom, which would basically focus on domestic abuse, what what can do, what we can't do in that. So it's not possible in the scope of the time that we have, but it's something that we really need to organise. Mm-hmm. As for a telephone number, as I said, we've just been allocated a small budget by the London Community Fund, which has allowed us to purchase phones and laptops so that we can work from home. So as from Monday, we will have a dedicated line. But at the moment, if anybody's in trouble, and they can either get to anyone like Auntie Jean, anyone like that, just to get my number direct, because I can't put it out, because the perpetrator will have it. I put it out, anybody will have it. So for the time being, what's been happening is Sister Charmaine Simpson, Auntie Jean, and other, you know, community giants who know who we are. You are very welcome to have our number. And if you think that somebody needs support, then the number that I have, my number will go out. I have 2 numbers. My main number is now, in case of extreme emergencies, I will give out that number. And then on Monday, there'll be 2 or 3 numbers that are dedicated. Okay? But we'll leave the email. In fact, I'll type the email in once I've finished speaking. I'm happy to do that.
Hi, sis. There was a question asking about domestic abuse on children. Have
Yes.
you got any information that you can share about that?
I do. As the law stands, if the child is under 17, then it's child abuse. It's not domestic abuse. Nevertheless, it's abuse. And there is children's safety is paramount. Absolutely 100% paramount. So if anybody has any thoughts that somebody even may be in trouble, then you report it. If you don't want to report it to the police, report it to us and we will do what we have to do. Every borough has safeguarding team. There's an adult safeguarding team, there's a children's safeguarding team, every single borough. And so you contact them, but if it's immediate danger, then do call the police. I know we're not fans of the police, we are not, but when it comes to life and death, I'm sorry, I would advocate that you call 999 immediately.
Anybody else got any questions?
I've got loads, but can I ask one more?
Yes.
Please. Okay, first and foremost, Sister Ngozi, the work that you do is sterling and it's much needed. One of the questions that I wanted to ask is when a sister is removed from such a toxic environment, whether there's any ongoing support for that sister and her children that you get maybe from other organizations or even family members that are supportive and not toxic?
Very, very, very good question. And I give thanks for your kind words, beloved. As the system works now, the support for African heritage people is disgusting. I'm going to tell you straight up. Sister Space has been struggling for 5 years, and only in the last maybe 6 months do they realize that we are a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. So what's happening is now, most of the time, we have to raise our own funds, or we have to depend on our own resources and our own communities. And again, I mentioned Auntie Jean and Sister Charmaine and Brother Andrew Mohammed and people like that who always make sure if they're doing any event, we get a stall, a fundraising stall, and then that's been happening for a good couple of years. And it's with that budget we're able to remove people ourselves and place them. You know, my senior sister, I'm going to take off the IDVA role and tell you that my senior sister is here and she's probably going to tell me off for saying this. But we've had an occasion where I've had to remove somebody and put them in my own home. Yeah, which is a no-no, which is an absolute no-no. I know the person very, very well, and they are an elder, and there was no way that I could just, you know, we've stayed with people in our Sister Space venue until support could be found. But in this particular case, I had to remove the person, and she was covered in bruises, and it wasn't a partner thing, it was her own her adult child. So we moved her to our premises for a short period, and this is something that we don't recommend at all. But when you're in a system that does not see us or hear us, then you have to do what you have to do, you know? So sometimes it's good that if there's community out there who've got a house in somewhere, and, you know, we can have access to that for a night or two. And even that has its own danger, I have to say, because we don't, you know, with the greatest respect, we're not putting a victim from one situation into another. Yeah. So it would mean that one of us or two of us have to stay there as well until help can be. But as the system goes right now, there's an organization called Safe Lives, and they are the body that is responsible for giving every single independent domestic violence advisor their qualification. So we're called IDVAs. I myself am one, and Dr. Richards is one. And that organization, I fought with them for 5 years, because when you go through their training, they have nothing for African heritage people at all. They will tell you about the LGBT, they will tell you about travelers community, they will tell you about, they will tell you, but they don't. So about maybe 6 months ago, they had a brand new CEO. Her name is Suzanne Jacobs, and she's superb. Yeah, she came down and she said, I've been looking back, and I said that you've been arguing with us for 2 years. What is it you need? So she came to our mango morning. That's what we have. We have mango mornings, not coffee morning. We have mango morning, you see? And in the mango mornings, we talk the thing. Yeah. So we invited her into our space, and she came humble, and I said, well, none of your staff are white. I mean, are black or African heritage. They're up in Bristol. You're sending IDVAs out there who know nothing about us, who can't support us, and are very offensive to us. And she said, okay, here's a budget. You rewrite the manual so that we can be inclusive. She actually rang me today, and she's the head of Safe Lives. And she said, what can Safe Lives do to help your organization? And I want to give her props for that, because the international organizations like Women's Aid and all the other organizations who are doing good work, but they're not taking us into account. They think they can speak for us. Suzanne is listening. And so we continue to fight. But you see, meetings like this is beautiful, because then we know that we're growing and that people are aware. And to see brothers, and there are brothers, because I have to put it out there, you know, not all men are perpetrators. A lot of them are. And some of them who, you know, that's another thing where they speak the speak, man. And you don't know what's happening in their house. But some of the brothers who have been supporting us, and I'm telling you, Andrew Mohammed, I'm telling you, Lloyd French, I'm telling you that there's brothers out there who are lifting us up. Yourself, Weston, for those brothers, you know, I give thanks. But for the sisters, we know what time it is. We've always known what time it is. We've always known. Yeah. And so, yeah, we're here. It's hard, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
And there's another question for you, sis. For somebody who can't really speak freely, is there
Yes.
a code? Is there a word that they can use? Is there sort of like I don't know, something that you can say if they go on the phone, if they pick up the phone to...
Okay. I can tell you that Sister Space, we're on Twitter, Sistah_space. Sistah is spelled, and I'm going to type everything up, yeah? But I am also on Bookface, okay? And people message me on the Bookface. They message me privately. And if you message me and there's an L or an M or any alphabet or your thing don't make sense, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to find a way to get to you. Yeah? But if I see a message that is kind of nonsensical, and what would help me is if they wrote like words that don't make any sense, AJXMLLP, then I'll know something, and then I'll message them back my number.
Can I jump in here?
Yes, please.
Give thanks to the gathering, and Ngozi makes reference to the fact that I'm her senior sister, but I'm also, she's the head of the service. So in some ways I'm a member of her staff. What I wanted to say, she made reference to the fact that on occasion actions need to be taken by Sistah Space because these are life or death situations. These are not inconveniences. These are situations where, as Ngozi said, if the person who is the aggressor gets any idea that the person is trying to make a bid for freedom, at that point, the person becomes more vulnerable. So sometimes actions have to be taken that perhaps is not recommended in our training or in our in a normal circumstance. One of the things that I want to do is just to give people, and you already probably have this, but a stronger sense of the reality of these circumstances. Ngozi is the face often of Sistah Space. And so with that comes increased risk to her, not just because she is the face, but also because of fatigue. And fatigue not just for Ngozi, who is not a machine, but will, if you're not careful, we have to, and we know in this community we have to take care of each other. If we don't all try to pick up as much of this responsibility as possible, it falls on one person. And so Ngozi is often the face, and Ngozi doesn't play. That's the other thing. The situations that Ngozi has been in are not just in terms of frontline service provision. Ngozi has been on Question Time. Most people are familiar with Question Time on the TV, and has made contributions in that space where she does not dilute her message at all. So one of the things that, and you could probably search it on Google or something, or YouTube, Ngozi will go into a space like that and actually articulate in plain language that we are not being seen, we are not being heard. And the way in which she did it, for instance, on Question Time, was to ask the audience and the panel, can you see us? Can you hear us? I mean, as straightforward as that. So her communication with the head of Safe Lives is also about that, is also about challenging the ones that are speaking on our behalf or thinking that they know us, as well as frontline work. So Ngozi's managing most of us, coordinating, and also, as she would have indicated earlier on, being mindful of the fact that the perpetrator is listening. Frequently, they're listening. So the fatigue is not just from the service provider, but it's also, if we're not careful, from the people we're trying to communicate with. So the more of us who say, you so-called mainstream services, or you so-called BAME people are not seeing our needs. You're not hearing us. We are different from other BAME people. There are people in the BAME grouping, Ngozi spoke about 2 groupings. There are people in the BAME grouping who don't like us. So we are familiar with going into shops owned by people who don't look like us and being treated badly. And those are the same people that we're being referred to. Just to take it wider, we know in the political space, if we talk about COVID-19, it is said that this situation emerged out of China, yet it is Africans being attacked. Absolutely. Always it comes back to we are the ones going to be attacked. So even when we're voicing our concerns about what is happening to us, the people we're speaking to can become fatigued of hearing from us if it's the same voice. So what I'm saying in that as we meet collectively and we become more and more aware and conscious of these dynamics, that it shouldn't just be Sistah Space who is speaking the speak. It should be what is happening. And Auntie Jean and Sister Charmaine and Brother Andrew and various people are exhibiting the kind of behaviors that is very useful. Other people are speaking about this so that it doesn't just seem like it's Ngozi and those volunteers in Sistah Space who are a nuisance. You know, we only ever hear from them that we're not meeting their needs. It needs to be more of us saying, we are a unique group of people. We have served this country. We have suffered under the policies and practices of this country. And it's not just in education, and it's not just in health, and it's not just in housing, but it's also in this area as well. So for that reason, we must be more visible, and we know about us. So if more and more of us are saying, we know about us, you cannot just heap us into a BAME pot and think that the people in BAME like us. Even the people who supposedly, allegedly, have maybe contributed to this climate right now are attacking us. So, you know, we are, you know, it's compacted. It's doubled down. The conversation is a difficult one because when we articulate this, the people that we're speaking to often feel offended or hurt or begin to exhibit some kind of vulnerable behavior. So we then do the thing that used to happen back in the days, where we would take care of the people who are oppressing us. And we don't want to be in that situation. We need to be clear, we need to be strategic, and we need not to be apologizing for the fact that we are failed repeatedly. Windrush is just one example, but you know, we are failed repeatedly.
Yeah, I just thank you so much. I just wanted to quickly say, and I'm going to step out, Windrush, I was going to mention them because the Windrush and those who were affected by the mass deportations are not coming forward to report abuse, and they're not coming forward for fear of deportation or other things. They're not even coming forward if they feel like they have symptoms. So this is part of the problem. Doctor, sister, doctor, thank you for seeing and hearing me always.
Thank you so much, Ngozi, and thank you so much, Doctor. Sandra, thank you. Thank you very much, because it's a very important topic, subject, very sensitive as well. And it's a subject that has been pushed underneath the carpet for so long. And it's almost like we know it exists, but nobody speaks about it. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being so brave, and thank you for all the work that you have put in throughout the years. You're a beautiful sister. Thank you. Now, we are moving on to our second presentation. But if anybody wants any questions or got any questions or burning questions still to ask Sister Ngozi, you can still write it along in the chat side. If you don't want to speak it yourself, write it in the chat side. Myself or Royston will actually ask the question for you. Okay. So we're moving on to our second presentation. Make sure you've got your pens and papers ready for questions for after the presentation. We have our brother Patrick, and he's talking about, is arsenic in our diet? So brother Patrick, you'd like to introduce yourself, and the screen is yours. I think brother Patrick would like to introduce himself first and then do this, and then he can go on with his presentation. Yeah? Brother Patrick?
Greetings. Right, great. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak about this very serious topic, which some people are not aware of. I'm sure some of you are. Let me just give you a little bit of a background about myself. I am a holistic health practitioner, nutritional consultant, and I have been for about roughly around 20 years. Now, I've always worked in and around London, helping people with their diets and helping people with various ailments and illnesses that they would have. And it's been, I would say, over the last few years, I stumbled upon something that was quite shocking that people weren't aware of. And what that was basically about the damaging effect of toxic metals in people's bodies. So invariably, people would come to me, and back in the day, I'd be able to solve their problem quite easily, because at that time, 20 years ago, toxic metals was not something that was affecting us as much as it is today. But I would say in the last 5 years, what's happened is that I'm seeing more and more people that are coming to me with problems that just seem to be impossible to get rid of. So for example, one of the major problems would be excessive weight gain and no way of trying to control it. The person cannot control their weight gain. So I used to just think this person was just eating a lot of food and was greedy, and you give them a diet, it'll be all right. No. So then I did some research, and what I found is that there is a chemical called arsenic that is a metalloid. They call it a metalloid, meaning it's metal-like. And this is actually being used in our food. And not just in food, but it's just about everywhere. So now what I'm going to talk about is the different types of arsenic and the signs and symptoms. And if I've got some time, I can speak about some ways of remedying the situation. So now let's look at some history. The United States Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry ranked arsenic #1 in its 2001 priority list of hazardous substances at Superfund sites. So that tells you right there, back in 2001, this metal, this toxin, was #1 on their list that, in terms of its hazardous kind of effects on the body. But what was happening was that nothing was really done about it. So it would be spoken about, but nothing was done about it. Now, arsenic is actually classified as a group A carcinogen, meaning it is a group A cancer. It will cause cancer. Now, the type of arsenic I'm talking about is the type of arsenic that they call inorganic arsenic. Now, the United States EPA, or that's the Environmental Protection Agency, stated that all forms of arsenic are a serious risk to human health. So again, things are being said, but certain things are happening. People are getting problems.
Sorry to interrupt. On that note, would you let me know when you like to show the footage?
I will, yes. Then yes, in fact, you could do it now, because it's even come out on the news that arsenic is damaging and other toxic metals are damaging. So let's run the tape.
All right, now to new warnings this morning about an American staple, rice. Consumer Reports is releasing a new report detailing what it calls worrisome levels of arsenic in many common types of rice products. The FDA is also out with a similar report today. So what does this mean for your family's health and the family dinner table? ABC's Jim Avila is in Washington with that. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Elizabeth. It's a world staple, the starch that feeds babies to seniors, and now a troubling warning to limit how much rice we eat from a prominent source.
Rice eaten just once a day can drive arsenic levels in the human body up 44%. Eaten twice a day can lead to a 70% increase in arsenic, according to a sobering report released to Good Morning America by Consumer Reports magazine this morning.
Consumers ought to take steps to moderate their consumption.
Consumer Reports tested for arsenic in many forms of rice, from cereal for babies and adults to brown and white whole grain, pasta and rice milk. Many contain what the magazine calls worrisome levels of arsenic. Some products had 5 times more than the arsenic found in oatmeal, 1.5 times more than the EPA's legal standard for drinking water. Inorganic arsenic is considered a level 1 carcinogen, linked to lung and bladder cancer. Today, the FDA will announce it is studying arsenic in rice too and recommends a varied diet. Consumer Reports wants more.
We called for that on apple juice in January. We're calling for that again in rice products today.
Surprisingly, when it comes to arsenic, the less nutritional white rice is better than brown, since the carcinogen is most prevalent in the outer layers of the grain, and white rice is polished, removing some of those layers. The USA Rice Federation does not dispute that arsenic is in rice, but says while that is a scary word, there is no documented evidence of actual illness linked to rice.
Rice is a safe and nutritious food. These are very, very low levels.
Now, rice contains more arsenic than other grains, experts say, because it's grown while submerged in water, soaking the poison from the ground into the rice. One suggestion from Consumer Reports, rinse it well until the water's clear and then cook the rice in fresh water, lots of it, a 6-to-1 ratio.
Today, your information.
Okay, yes, so there you have it. It comes on the news. So for people who think that I'm talking rubbish, you've got the proof there. So it's in our rice, but not just rice, for example, white rice or brown rice, but it's been found in dozens and dozens of different rice products as well. And it's not just getting there by accident, it's getting there by design. It's also present in chicken that is not organic. And what is the type of food that our people like to eat? It generally is chicken and rice. So those foods will guarantee you a very high arsenic level. Now, the FDA has stated that 100 parts per billion is considered not toxic to the human body. I disagree with that. Even 1 part per billion is toxic to the human body. Because it's like, for example, if you have a clear glass of water and someone puts 1 part of manure in your water, as far as I'm concerned, and when I look at it from my own cultural perspective, that water is polluted, as far as I'm concerned. So it doesn't matter how small that is, I don't care. If there's 1 part, 100 parts or whatever, that is polluted. But they have a standard and they're constantly lowering the standard so that toxic contaminated food can be classified as healthy. Arsenic is also in drinking water from the tap. So people out there, if you're still drinking water from the tap, you better try and not do that, because you're going to get high amounts of fluoride, chloride, ammonia, and arsenic. Brussels sprouts as well. So any food that you eat from the supermarkets that's not organic, such as Brussels sprouts, they contain arsenic, and that's according to Dr. Cottingham's research. And there are other types of foods that are sulfur attracting kind of foods, such as kale and cauliflower. They can contain arsenic as well. And so, according to a study that was done, arsenic levels in regular sprout eaters were 10.4% higher than in people who never ate them or ate them less than once a month. Okay. Inorganic arsenic was also found to be in people eating dark fish, the dark colored fish, mackerel, salmon, sardines, blue fish, swordfish. Some people might say, I don't eat that fish. But also tuna is high in arsenic as well. Now, when they did the study on that, they found that people that ate that type of fish once a week compared to people who ate that type of fish once a month, there was a difference in the arsenic levels. The people that ate it more often had higher arsenic levels. Also, there's an organization called the Dartmouth study group. The Dartmouth study group did a study with men who drank 2.5 beers per day. They found that their arsenic levels were 30% higher than non-consumers. Now, I don't know anybody who drinks 2.5 beers per day. Most people drink about 4, 5, 6 beers a day, right? If you're gonna have a beer, you're not gonna drink half of it. So that's the reality. That's the average I'm giving you. So if you're gonna drink beer, your arsenic levels are gonna go up. Not to mention other toxins as well, which I could talk about for about 2 hours. So here are the side effects. The side effects of arsenic: number 1, weight gain. Also, blood in the stools, thickening of the skin. You know, sometimes people get thickening of the skin on their hands and their feet. You get things like corns and these things. People just, oh, it's just one of those things. But no, it's caused by something. It may be arsenic, or it could be another metal or toxin. Darker skin, heart disease, cancer, blood in the urine, cramping, muscles, hair loss, stomach cramps, convulsions, excess sweating, vomiting, damage to your liver, your kidney, your lungs, causes seizures, shock, diabetes, liver disease, hearing problems, loss of sensation of the limbs, digestive difficulties. I'll talk about that as well if I've got time. And that is according to the Medical News Today newspaper. It is a metalloid, as I stated. Now, organic forms of arsenic are everywhere. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the soil. Now, the organic form is what is naturally present in plants and in food, which does really little harm, no harm whatsoever, because a certain amount of organic arsenic is necessary to keep food balanced in terms of minerals and vitamins and all the rest of it. But when you have inorganic arsenic, this toxic arsenic, which does not contain carbon, this is the damaging one. So the one that contains carbon, which is organic arsenic, is okay. Not saying that you should go out and look for it and eat it, but it is present in certain types of foods. Inorganic arsenic has the ability to change the cell's function and displace vital elements from the cell. So it's basically stripping your cell of its vital energies that it needs, its vital elements. Yeah. So one type of arsenic called arsenate can imitate and replace the phosphate in the cell, which impairs the cell's ability to generate energy. So this is what's going on as well. So sometimes when people get chronic fatigue, they get tiredness, they can't understand why they're tired. They seem to be eating relatively healthy and they're still tired. They're stressed as well, because it stresses the body. It can stress the adrenal glands as well. And this is caused by arsenic. Arsenic reduces the amount of energy produced by the mitochondria of the, this might be a bit technical for some people, but basically in your intestines, you have what they call the mitochondria, which is what produces your energy. But it actually damages, this arsenic damages the enzymes that are helping the mitochondria to produce energy and to absorb nutrients. So that's devastating. So now what that will lead to is cravings, because you're not getting the nutrients from your food. If you're not getting the nutrients from the food, you're going to keep on wanting to eat more food. And usually what will happen, because you're not getting nutrients, you're going to have the desire to satisfy your nutrient requirement, your nutrient quota. Because every time you're eating, but then there's nothing being done to the food. Your body's not absorbing the nutrients. So therefore you crave more food and you get fatter and fatter. Arsenic can cause folic acid absorption problems as well. So that's very important for ladies, very important for conception. If you're not producing or not absorbing folic acid, it can lead to reproductive problems in men and women. When you have, one of the signs and symptoms of arsenic toxicity is that you can have warts and lesions and dermatitis and all kinds of skin problems. And you try and use a better type of cream on your face, you know, and it's still there, or you start just breaking out, especially sometime when the sun comes, when it's a sunny type of weather. What the sun is actually doing, it's trying to pull out the toxin from the body, which is buried deep inside of the fat. It's pulling out. So these lesions and spots and rashes come on your skin. That's the sun trying to pull out this toxin. And people call it sun rash or heat rash. Then you get a tingling in your toes and your fingers and this type of thing. Some people get vertigo as well. Vertigo is when you get this kind of spinning sensation. You feel like someone's spinning the room on you. I know somebody who got that recently. Chest pain, which can lead to heart problems, bladder problems, prostate damage. That's one popular one with arsenic damage. And as it said in the news, rice consumed one time daily causes 44% increase in arsenic in your body, just one time daily, and twice daily, 70%. So that's how much damage is being done. Once you increase the arsenic level beyond your normal requirement for arsenic, it goes and causes a lot of damage inside your body. So basically it poisons, to emphasize what I'm saying before, it poisons the enzymes that transport nutrients to the mitochondria in your intestines. And that is extremely damaging to you, because then it's going to affect your nutrient absorption, it's going to affect your energy levels. It's catastrophic, really, in terms of your functionality of your digestive system. It destroys the isolates and Langerhans. This is basically technical terminology for your pancreas. So your pancreas is what you use to break down sugars, carbohydrates, and this type of thing. And you have these melanated cells called the isolates and Langerhans. And these cells are designed to metabolize sugars and carbohydrates. When arsenic gets in contact with that, it destroys them. So now you can't break down sugars, you can't break down carbohydrates. So then you get fatter and fatter and you get diabetes. It also can cause damage to the cells, for example, in the adrenal glands and the hypothalamus as well. So the hypothalamus is in the center of your brain, and the adrenal glands are around about sort of just on top of your kidney. Tobacco products. So most tobacco products contain arsenic. So if you're breathing someone else's cigarette smoke, you're getting arsenic. If you smoke, you're getting arsenic. Also cadmium as well, which is also damaging, but we're not talking about cadmium. And it is present in the air due to coal combustion. If you live near industrial sites, that can also be high in arsenic. In exposure to waste sites, arsenic contaminated food is rife right now. Basically, they want a population of people with fat and controllable. And that's why they're putting the arsenic in the food. Arsenic has been found in many different brands of fruit juices, as it mentioned on the news. The apple juices tend to have a lot of arsenic as well. Now, the arsenic, when people might ask me, well, where is it coming from? The pesticides, the herbicides, the insecticides that they're using on a daily basis. Apparently, America dumps about 1.5 million tons of pesticides on its soil every single year. That's a lot of arsenic. God knows what they do in England, but this is what we're dealing with. This is what's going on. If you're not eating organic, you're most likely eating arsenic from your food, which is coming from the pesticides. So yeah, as I said, it's used in antibiotics to feed chicken to make them look healthy. So it makes the chicken look fatter because they can actually make the chicken grow faster with arsenic, which is in the drugs that they use. And it makes them grow faster so they can actually make more money faster. Arsenic can be found in wine. Why? Because they spray pesticides and chemicals on the grapes that are used to make the wine. It's also found in table salt, shellfish. I'm kind of moving on fast because I know I haven't got much time. Mercury in the body keeps arsenic locked in. So mercury and arsenic have a kind of, they're like synergistic pairs. Without one, you can't have the other. So what's happening with mercury, for example, if you have a mercury filling, the mercury that is leaching into your body from the filling will help to keep the arsenic in your body. And that's been proven by a woman by the name of Dr. Wendy Myers. She breaks that down quite well. Weight loss resistant is a very, very common cause of, is a symptom of arsenic toxicity. So weight loss resistance is caused by poisoning the enzymes that transport triglycerides out of the fat cells. So you're not removing these triglycerides from your fat cells, so you just get fatter and fatter. Now, this is according to a consumer report. The consumer report shows that after a study that was done on fruit juices, they found a measurable amount of heavy metals, including arsenic, in every brand. The juices were tested for lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. Their findings showed that inorganic lead, cadmium, and mercury were contained in many of the brands, and out of the 45 types that were tested, there were found to be 21 types of juice that were contaminated with one or a combination of the metals previously mentioned. So there you have it. In a nutshell, it's in your fruit juices. So if you're not going to get arsenic, you're most likely going to get mercury. Or if you're not going to get mercury, you're going to get cadmium. You're going to get one of those toxic metals if you're drinking juices from the carton. Because again, they're not going to tell you it's organic, because it isn't organic in most cases. Rice grown in India and China, we have to be careful of. They are the ones that have the highest amount of arsenic according to studies and have found to have been most toxic. So now let's talk about solutions if I've got some time. Solutions, I think you heard one person talk about boiling your rice, if you have to have rice, in a 6-to-1 ratio of water and drain the excess off. That will get rid of some of the toxicity from the arsenic in the rice. So 6-to-1 ratio. So you're losing quite a lot of water in your pot, and you let it boil. It might be a bit mushy, but again, that's one of the only solutions. And then we can go into supplementation. Some people use silica, which can be quite good for pulling out arsenic out of your body. Some people use cysteine. Nowadays, what people are doing, they're getting N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine has been found as well, according to research, to help boost glutathione levels in your body, because glutathione is a very powerful amino acid that you need in your body, and it really can help to get rid of toxic metals. Some people use ALA, which is alpha lipoic acid, which can help to remove not just arsenic, but other metals as well. High doses of vitamin C, I think that's my favorite. I think when you go into a high level of vitamin C, and some people think like 500 milligrams of vitamin C is high. You're not even talking about taking anything when you take 500 milligrams of vitamin C. You ain't even taking nothing when you take 500 milligrams, trust me. You're looking to be taking in the region of about 3 grams or 3,000 milligrams to 5,000 milligrams per day of vitamin C. Citrus fruits, which are high, obviously, in vitamin C, that can help as well. And that can help to remove arsenic. And sodium allopoic acid as well. And molybdenum, which can help to increase your absorption of sulfur, which you get from garlic. So you'd have to get your diet high in things that are high in sulfur, such as garlic and onions. And when you increase that into your diet, garlic, onions, broccoli, these things that have high amounts of sulfur, when you take the molybdenum, that will help to boost your ability to absorb the sulfur that's in those foods. So I could talk for a bit more, but I think I've said enough. So anybody who would like to contact me certainly can, because what I basically do, I design diets to get people off of certain addictions to certain types of foods that they shouldn't eat, or if they have certain health imbalances or problems with their health that they have. I'm like basically a consultant and a qualified nutritional consultant. I can basically give them the diet that they need to alleviate their health condition. So I thank you for listening to me, and I would like to open up the floor for any questions if anyone's got questions.
There's just a quick one. There's a couple here that people put in before. Where do you get the silica from?
Yeah, any good health shop should be able to provide that.
Okay.
A good health shop. So you've got Neil's Yard, I think they have it, and a few others like Brixton, Whole Foods, they have it. Most good health shops will have it.
Okay. And does the 6-to-1 ratio, does that make it safe?
Not really, no. It's not going to be completely safe, but it's going to decrease the arsenic by about 20 to 30%. Because you're washing out in the water. It may be more than that. It depends.
I've got a question here about the effect of metformin. Do you know about that? Does that cause dizziness and ringing in the ears and things like that?
Well, in my experience, metformin has always caused, one, damage to the eyesight. Okay, so people tend to have glasses when I meet them and they take in metformin. And it also causes damage to their bones. So then the doctor ends up giving them acetaminophen for their joints, along with the metformin, which is a deadly combination. You see, so basically, what I encourage people to do is to use the food as your medicine and make the medicine be your food. Because if I were to look into your body or in a person's body who's got diabetes, I would not see acetaminophen deficiency or a metformin deficiency. I would just see that they have a vitamin A deficiency or a zinc deficiency or an iron deficiency, which are natural minerals or vitamins that the body needs. But I would never see a metformin deficiency. So if you don't have a metformin deficiency, you shouldn't be taking metformin.
Thank you. You're muted, Auntie Jean. So I've got an eye on time.
Sorry, Patrick. Thank you so much. Anybody else got any more questions? I see.
I've got an eye on time, Auntie Jean.
So if you put your questions inside in the chat, then we can readdress them later on. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There will,
brilliant information.
There will be an opportunity for more questions later on, but we're going to move to a short break now. During that break, I'll show a short video, and then we'll come back, and we've got 2 presenters after the break. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks again, Patrick. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Again, we're still suffering from the legacy of slavery. And that, again, lies our problems. When you take the same person with such a mentality and you put them in a boardroom across from a white person, they then start buckling in, they can almost pee on themselves because they get scared. How do you go in as a manager, as an administrator, as a person in leadership role? You're afraid of white people. How do you negotiate with them? That's why we are always losing on the negotiating table. That's probably part of what happened when the Chinese first came to Africa. We were just accepting whatever contracts they were giving us without really reading through and making sure that we are negotiating in the best interest of the country. So, but now, thank goodness, the leaders have picked up on that. They are dealing with it. A lot of bad contracts are being cancelled, but we must realize to an extent, we Black people still suffering from the legacy of slavery, and too many of us are afraid of white people. They feel inferior to white people. That has got to change. We cannot stress it enough that we Black people, we are the origin of humanity. We as Black women, we gave birth to the first human being. Without a Black woman, there would not be any other races. That is a reason why we can stand on the tallest mountain and proclaim to the world who we are. We are the original people, and therefore no one can treat us as being inferior. Every Black person must know that. So we are not inferior to anyone, and we should not tolerate anyone trying to treat us like we are inferior. We should rise up and push back. That is not going to be tolerated anymore. Like what is happening in China. We will not take it lying down. Absolutely not. Well, if we do the right things, if we plan, You look at an Africa that is feeding the world. We still have 65% of the arable land. Africa can feed the entire world. Africa can provide natural resources as finished goods to the entire world. There is nothing Africa needs outside with the extent of the expertise. And in our case, the expertise can come from the African diaspora. We're not saying we don't want foreign direct investment. Absolutely not. We just want to let them to know that the Westerners and those from the East, when they come to Africa, they must understand that Black people are going to be on the driver's seat. Just like a Black man does not lead a Chinaman to China, a Chinaman must not lead a Black man to Africa. When going to Africa, they must understand, those from the West and those from the East, that they have to come behind the Black man. Because for us, Africa is home, and we demand to be on the driver's seat of the African Continental Development Agenda. So I see an Africa that is thriving, an Africa that is now a first world with all its children living happily on our beloved continent, in harmony with others from other parts of the world. But they must understand that they have got to respect the African. We will not have it any other way. Those who don't think they can respect the Africans, we humbly ask them to get out of the continent. You are not welcome. But those who are ready to respect the Africans, they're very welcome. We can live together in harmony. Actually, I don't need China to help us. We're simply going to China just like the Chinese are coming to Africa. We'll establish our office. We don't need any to help us. We can help ourselves. We are going to China the same way that they're going to Africa. It is simple. We will not have Chinese telling us we cannot be in China when millions of Chinese are in Africa. That will not be tolerated. It is just that simple. We don't need any help from the Chinese. We're simply going to China to open our offices so we can continue to do our work just like the Chinese are going to also do what they need to be doing. Collaborators, because the African diaspora that I'm reaching out to, we are looking at African Americans, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Latino. If you are Black, you are an African, you are an African diaspora. I'm reaching out beyond what the embassies are doing. So there's no competition, it is collaboration. ADDI means African Diaspora Development Institute. As you can imagine, in the entire existence of the African continent, outside Africa, there has not been an entity that we can all go to and speak with one voice and address the issues pertaining to Africa. To go to Africa, there's no one place that could go to get information about how to get into Africa. You gotta go to each embassy to get information about that country. So ADDI is going to be a one-stop shop for those wanting to invest in Africa. We'll open up opportunities for them. For those wanting to go to Africa as tourists, we'll help them, we'll assist them in advising them what places to go to. We are saying we are the one-stop shop. Even the heads of states and government, if they want to access the African diaspora, they can come through ADDI, and we'll link them to whatever services they're looking for within the diaspora. The same is true with the African diaspora. They can also come through ADDI to reach the continent and also understand more about the investment opportunities that are available. The first country we're going to go to, if we were not for Corona, was Zambia, where we were supposed to have a women's conference, a youth conference, and a diaspora conference. During that visit, we're also going to visit and officially do the ground digging for our Wakanda, which is the land that the president gave us a few years ago. We're also be opening our ADDI offices. Through the offices, we're going to leave the officers. We're going to continue to engage relationships between the African youth on the continent and the African youth in the diaspora. Also, the women on the continent, linking up with the women in the diaspora. So we can continue the conversations in terms of what we need to do to move our continent forward. And along the way, we're going to have a trade officer who's also going to look at all the opportunities in Zambia, because we are saying before the heads of states can take those contracts outside the continent and give the contract to the Chinese or the Europeans, must give those opportunities first to the diaspora. Give us the first right of refusal, because I do know that there are lots of diaspora companies that are capable of building airports, of building railway lines. We just have to know what opportunities are. And that is what ADDI is going to be doing. ADDI is going to be the bridge between the African heads of states and government and diaspora around the globe. Yes, what we have now, the structure includes in Washington, D.C. We're going to have for the first year 5, we're calling them Africa houses, where we are going to be creating homes within the United States where people of African descent can meet and discuss our issues. This is where we would like our young people, if they have issues, if they need jobs, if they need ideas about starting a business. There are too many of us who are in positions to help. We like to be able to float their desires out there. So those in leadership roles can also pick them up and assist them to the best that they can. We're simply taking a copy out of the Jewish playbook. We're also going to be opening ADDI in each region, starting with 5 this year, and then we'll open another 5 next year. We're going to be opening ADDI Beijing, 2 in Europe, 2 in the UK, 1 in Australia for the next 12 months. That is the plan. So we continue as we increase the ADDI offices. In Africa, we are going to start with 10, 2 in each region, ADDI offices. We're hoping we can open 10 in the next 12 months. That's how we're going to continue to communicate. When we enter into a country, we hope to work with the government so they can allow us access to all the investment opportunities. Zambia has actually stepped up to the plate. The team, the investment team, economic development team from Zambia, we're actually supposed to be here in the States. We were supposed to be going to New York, Atlanta, Houston, Chicago, Minneapolis, and Los Angeles. We were averaging 150 to 200 businesses that were going to be by Zambia, all the investment opportunities that has, and they would have the first right of refusal. Then when they pick what investment they want, a month later, we're all going to go to Zambia. They would have their meetings already set up with the ministries pertaining to their sector. So by the time they go to Zambia, they're already talking about taking their investment to a different level. So that's what we plan from one country to the other, to simply say, heads of states, you have been calling for your children in the diaspora for a long time. Now we are organized and we are ready to come home and play our part in building the Africa we want. 5 years from now, I will hope to see an ADDI that is in as many states as possible in this country, in as many countries as possible in Africa. I'd like to see diaspora who are fully engaged with the continent, taking over and taking their rightful place and making sure that the building of Africa, the agenda, the continental development agenda for Africa, led and driven by the African diaspora in collaboration with their brothers and sisters. You must understand, my brother, that you don't China and find Black people leading the Chinese development agenda. You don't go to Mexico, you don't go to India, you don't go to Europe and find Black people driving the development agenda for those regions. Therefore, we must not, should not, and Gali will not see non-Africans driving the African continental development agenda. We have got to take the driver's seat in the development of Africa. And that's why I will run around like a chicken without a head, letting every diaspora that needs to know this is the place that is waiting for you to take over. If you do not take it, then do not complain when the heads of states are giving contracts to the Chinese and to the Europeans and bypassing you because you refuse to be organized. The diaspora are the missing link in order for Africa to truly build a sustainable Africa free of exploitation. And that is the only way Africa can move forward. Oh, absolutely. We're making progress. As a matter of fact, in terms of investment, the returns on your money cannot be better than anywhere else than in Africa. People are making 10 to 20 returns on their investments. You will not get that anywhere in the Western world. So yes, we are making developments, albeit slow, but we are making developments. But again, I will emphasize, if we can just be free of the exploitation and manipulations out of the West, it will be a lot easier for Africa to move forward. If you look at the average African country, we're spending about 30% of the GDP on loan repayment. These loans are frivolous loans that have been paid 1,000 times over. These are games that are being played by IMF, by World Bank and other financial institutions. All that we have to be very realistic and understand all those issues. How can a country spend 30% of their GDP on loan repayment? It's unacceptable. It is my humble that if I had a choice, I would just ask all African heads of states to stop paying their loans, because those loans have been paid over a gazillion times. Well, I can't say we needed COVID-19. Absolutely. We did not need COVID-19. But it is an equalizer. What COVID-19 is reminding us that when it's all said and done, e pluribus unum, we are one. Regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of your socio-economic status, regardless of your nationality, we are all humans under God. And when COVID comes in, COVID doesn't care how much money you have in your bank. It doesn't care what the color of your skin. I think COVID-19 is an equalizer that is reminding us as humanity. And for Africa, I think if we work in a collaborative way, we can find an Africa that's going to improve COVID-19 with a significantly improved healthcare system, with an Africa that's slowly beginning to manufacture our own healthcare products. For example, we have started a COVID-19 fundraising, and our plan is to pay the locals to sew the masks and the surgical gowns, because there's no need for us to buy them when we have our own tailors and seamstresses who can do a great job of sewing these needed PPEs. So I'm hoping that if this COVID is done in a continental level, in an organized way, Africa can see herself in a totally different place as far as our healthcare system, as well as our manufacturing industry.
Thank you, and we're back to the second half now. And yes, sorry, Royston, you have something to say?
One more thing. So I just want to share. Oops, sorry, definitely not him. I just wanted to share some information about our two speakers so far. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so Sister Ngozi's information and Brother Patrick's information are there. And if you can, invite you to take a picture of the screen or a screen dump of the screen. Is that the wrong number for you?
I don't know how to take no picture. Listen, I just about know how to get on Zoom.
Don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry.
Can I take this opportunity to give thanks? I'm going to have to press out. I'm on call. But
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sister. Go well. Go well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will put that information up again later so that people can take a picture of it. Take a picture of it in the meantime. Thanks.
Oh, you ready for me now? Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Jean, before you carry on, I just wanted to say maybe Royce needs to let people know that they can access the recording of this session on the Garvey Village website in the future.
Yeah, I did put a note in the chat room, but yes, absolutely. And we want to build up our contacts so that people can we can signpost people to this, get the information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Royston. Next, we have our next presenter, who literally cured himself of diabetes, and he's going to be talking about how to cope with type 2 diabetes in this time. His name is Lyndon Wissart, and I'm going to ask you to, Lyndon, you can introduce yourself and let me tell everybody how quickly you cured your diabetes. So the screen now is yours, Lyndon Wissart.
Very much, Auntie Jean. Royston, thank you very much for having me on.
You're very low, Lyndon.
Very low?
Yeah, you're very low.
1 second. I'll saw Patrick, he sounded very clear, and he wasn't even using a microphone. Okay, is that better?
Much better, thank you.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure. Just wanted to reiterate, just saying thank you very much for having me on your event show this evening. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you guys. And how do I follow the people that's been before me? I think after listening to Patrick, I've got to stop eating. You know, arsenic's and everything, you know? Auntie Jean, can you say something? Can I hear you? Or should I just speak?
No, yeah, you can speak. You can
okay,
speak.
Brilliant. Okay, fine.
I can hear you clearly, thank you.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. No, so I was getting some tips from Patrick there as well. So hopefully we've got Patrick's details for his website or any information we can follow up on him, a book or something. So please let me contact him or get him to contact me or vice versa, because he's got some powerful information that I don't even know about, you know? I don't even know about. So I'm just grateful to be on the platform with you guys tonight as well. So even tonight I'm learning, you know, I'm learning tonight, which is awesome, brilliant. And I personally feel it's really good that we're coming together like this for different issues, not just for one thing that everybody's talking about. And the issues that everyone is talking about at the moment, there's other things going on out there, you know. The diabetes is still going on, you know. The health issues of mental health is still going on out there, you know. And the big C is still going out there. So many things are going on out there. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking to myself, I must be honest. There's so much things talking about this COV. Yeah, I was hesitant to talk about diabetes. You know, I was hesitant to carry on where I was doing before the lockdown. But people were saying to me, Lyndon, why don't you talk, carry on? You know, there's people still suffering out there with diabetes. And one of the things that happened today, I was watching the news today, and they were talking about Newham Council. There's a big death rate in Newham Council. And in Newham Council, yeah, one of the highest rates of diabetes in the UK is in Newham. Would you believe it? Yeah. So just think, they're talking about the underlying health issues that people are having, that this virus is attacking people with, you know? So some people believe it, some people don't believe it, some people are getting involved, some people are not getting involved. There's so many different aspects of it. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna give you some facts, yeah? Every 22 seconds, somebody loses a lower limb through diabetes, yeah? Every 6 seconds, somebody dies from diabetes. Every 3 days, yeah, there's a new diabetic person. Yeah, a new diabetic person. In the UK alone, there's over 4 million people with diabetes. Worldwide, yeah, there's 400 plus people with diabetes. The IDF, the Independent Diabetes Federation, expects diabetes in the year 2030 to be up to 560 odd million people worldwide. Yeah, my question is, how come there are so many diabetes organizations worldwide, yeah, doing so much research, getting so much money, and yet it's still going up? It's non-comprehensible to me, you know? So when I reversed my type 2 diabetes in 105 days, I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? You know, what's going on? So I'm just going to give a quick scenario of my story, okay? I was born in Hackney. I moved to Tottenham with my parents. Well, they moved me. They moved me to Tottenham, yeah, from when I was 4. So I spent most of my life in Tottenham, up to my teenage years in Tottenham, okay? I qualified as a professional chef for over 30 years, working in different types of establishments all around the country, doing jobs abroad as well. And through all the catering knowledge that I had, I still got diabetic. I still became a diabetic. And the reason being I became diabetic, the day that I was diagnosed is a day when I thought to myself, what's wrong with me? There was something wrong with me. My body wasn't right. My mind wasn't right. A lot of things wasn't right about me. So I had to go to the doctor that day and I had to get the blood test. When I went to get a blood test, for just general health, they said we need to do a blood test for diabetes. When they took my blood test, they done a pinprick on my finger, and that pinprick that they take was 15.9. That's a blood glucose blood test, and mine's was 15.9. It's supposed to be 5. Yeah. Then they said we're going to send you to do another blood test, a HbA1c blood test. Yeah, and the HbA1c blood test looks at your blood levels for the last 3 months. Yeah, mine was 92, and it's supposed to be 42. Yeah, so I was in a danger zone when I was diagnosed. So when they told me that I got diabetes, I asked them, so what is diabetes? Because I didn't even know what it was then. You know, and there's so many people walking around with the symptoms of diabetes, like I did, for over a year and done nothing about it because I didn't know what to relate the symptoms to. So, in fact, when they told me I was diabetic, my question was, how did I become diabetic? And they said through too much carbohydrates, pasta, rice, potatoes, all the fizzy drinks, all these things that I was having on a day-to-day basis. And when they told me that, I thought to myself, okay, what do I need to do? And the first thing that they went for, they went for the metformin. And just listening to what Patrick just mentioned about metformin, I'm thinking to myself, wow. To be honest with you, I don't even really talk about metformin because my cousin, who was a type 1 diabetic, he said, Lyndon, if you ever become diabetic, do not take medication. Do not take medication. So just think, I'm sitting there with my doctor, and I'm thinking, my doctor's offering me metformin for my diabetes. And I'm thinking, my cousin is saying to me in my head, Lyndon, don't take medication because there are side effects to it. So I think to myself, who do I listen to? This is where I personally believe where the mental health issue comes with a lot of people, the indecisiveness. This is when mental health really affects the mind of which direction do I go? Up, down, around, left, right? Where do I go from here? I'm in this situation. What do I need to do? And this is why I'm so grateful that I had my cousin Ken, who said, "Don't take medication." So,
it's like a needle to the skin. If you wasn't prepared, then you ought to be scared. But even if you was, you're aware of what the rhyme does.
Is anybody there?
Sorry, yes, we can hear you. I had to just that last one.
No problem. No, okay, so my situation is now, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And my doctor said to me, okay, I don't recommend you not to take the medication, but we're going to give you 3 weeks, to have another blood test, to reverse your 3 weeks to reverse your type 2 diabetes, or 3 weeks to have another blood test. So I said to myself that day, I just said to myself, okay, Lyndon, what you need to do is stop eating pasta, rice, potatoes, all the fizzy drinks, they have to go. This was me overnight. I don't recommend it. Anything that I say, before you do anything, talk to your doctor, your dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a medical person. This is just what I've done and how I've done it. So I decided I'm gonna stop or cut down on all carbohydrates as much as possible. And from that day, my mindset was, okay, next thing, diet. What am I going to take out of my diet? What am I going to stop eating? What am I going to start eating was one of the hardest things, especially with carbohydrates, especially when you're on pasta, rice, potatoes, fizzy drinks every day, when that's your stable diet, what you're going to eat next day. So that was a tough decision. And one of the things I was overweight as well. I was pretty big, and I know I was overweight, but my mum said to me, Lyndon, your belly will get big, But I said to Mum, how can you talk to me like that? Your belly will get big, and I'm thinking to myself, gosh, I don't know that I'm getting big. I can see it, but I'm not acknowledging it. I'm not doing nothing about it. And this is what my mum said, pigs don't know when pigs stink, because you're in an environment, but you don't realize the environment that you're in. So what I decided to do was, from the diet, to cut down, I just literally stopped eating as much as possible, So I was too afraid. So the next thing was physical activity. Because of the overweightness, yeah, what I decided to do was to go to the gym. Yeah, this is personal thing, go to the gym. So I take my daughter to school in the morning, and straight from school, I go to the gym for 3-4 hours in the gym, working out to lose the weight and to get fit. Yeah, the only thing I'll be drinking is drinking water. That's the only thing I'll be drinking when I go to the gym, just drink water for that period of time. So after a period of time, when I was losing the weight, reversing my diabetes, I was talking to people about it, and I told them what I was doing. I said, Lyndon, you're intermittently fasting. I said, what? What's that? I mean, you're intermittently fasting. You're not eating every day. You're just drinking liquids. So this was the fourth one, the fourth principle that I have, the intermittently fasting. So this is what I was doing on about 4 or 5 times a week, easy. So I'll get back to my car after the gym. I'll have a punnet of blueberries and a banana, and that was it. So those are the 4 things that I done: mindset, diet, physical activity, and intermittently fasting to reverse my diabetes. So by doing that, when the doctors gave me 3 weeks to reverse my diabetes, within 3 weeks, 25 days, 25 days, I reversed my HbA1c from 92 down to 77. Yeah, from 77, now for 28 days, it went down to 70 down to 60. Yeah, so 92 to 77, and with a total of 105 days, I went down to 41. So I went down below the level. So I was back to normal then. So people say I'm either cured, I'm in remission, I reversed it, whatever they want to say. But I done it in a very organic way for me, and in a layman's way. And now, because of what I've done, I've got introduced to other products that people are talking about to help with to reverse the blood sugars, like moringa, apple cider vinegar. I didn't know about these things, bitter gourd. And one of the things that I started to have, I used to start off with a bottle of water, yeah, because when I had other health issues going at the same time. So I had a fatty liver. And I told one of my friends that I got fatty liver, I got diabetes. And he said, Lyndon, take some lemon water, fresh lemon water, okay? And it will help with the fatty liver, break it down. So this is my daily diet, what I have every morning now before I wake up. I have a bottle, this is a 500 ml bottle, yeah, of lemon water. I have it by my bed, so it's room temperature in the morning. This is my personal choice, what I do for me. So I put lemon in there. Sometimes I put lime in there as well. Lime is probably even better as well, as a good combination, definitely. So when I started working with lemon and lime, somebody else said to me, Lyndon, you know what you should do? You should add some okra. Yeah? So I started to add okra to the water as well. Yeah? So because okra reduces the blood sugars naturally. Yeah, and like a lot of people talk about, it goes slimy and all that. You get used to it, or you can strain it off. Or when you strain it, it gets thinner, it thinners down. But the water doesn't taste very nice with the okra. So what I started to do with the okra, I had the lemon in it, and I started to do my own drinks like this. Yeah, so you got okra in here, and you put fresh mint in it. Yeah, and the green stuff that I put into this is spirulina. Yeah, spirulina is a very, very good protein, zinc and calcium as well. This is very, very good. So a lot of people like myself, when you come off of meat, you wonder, okay, where am I going to get my proteins from? Where am I going to get proteins from? And the spirulina was a good replacement protein. But as a chef, I should know better. How would you believe it? You know, a lot of chefs are overweight. They're not healthy like they're supposed to be. And when I found out, but you get more protein from green vegetables, the greens, the callaloo, the spinach. Well, I think after talking to Patrick, I'm going to give up kale now. With the arsenic in it, guys. I used to promote kale so much, you know. Kale used to be one of my number one. I just think I used to eat kale raw as well. Not even cooked in 6 parts 1 water. You know, but you know, even now downstairs, what we used to do, we dry out the kale. You know, we dry it, we wash it, and then we put it in the oven and dry it out. Then we have it like crisps. You know, instead of having the normal packet crisp. You know, so this is what we do. So I have to speak to Patrick about revisiting my kale situation, or what alternatives I can use on that, which would be good. So the other thing that I started to add to my water was, some of you might know this, bitter gourd, or Karela or Karela. One of my Trinidad friends said Karela, yeah. And then also they call it bitter melon as well, yeah. And the leaf from this is the cerasee leaf that I use for the cerasee leaves. So what the bitter gourd does, it helps reduce his blood sugars naturally as well. But this is horrible. It doesn't taste very pleasant at all. It's very, very bitter, but you get used to it. And the thing about it, when you got that, like I said before, with this one, I got cumin in, I put cinnamon in it. I put cinnamon in it because I like cinnamon for the flavor. I put cucumber in there as well for that. I also put cayenne pepper. The reason why I put cayenne pepper in there, cayenne pepper helps you to lose weight, helps break down the blood sugar, not blood sugar, but helps out break down the fat in the body. So the cayenne pepper is very, very good, especially if you're exercising. So that's what I do. So this is like one of my drinks that I do. I do about 3 or 4 of these bottles, leave them in the fridge for a couple of days, and then I drink the juice. Yeah, when it starts to break down. It's funny, I still do this now, and I don't think I even need to do it. Because I just enjoy the drink now. I love the drink now, and I feel like I'm getting the nutrition, I'm getting the benefits of it, you know, and it's going to help with my blood sugar as well. And to be honest with you, some days I'm just waking up and I'm just doing stuff. And I've got so much energy and I've not even eaten any food. Would you believe it? Because psychologically you think, okay, all right, I'm going to get up in the morning, going to have a coffee, going to have a full English breakfast. I'm going to eat this before I get my energy going. But sometimes it's just a mindset. It's just a mindset. And just to touch on what we're going for at the moment, yeah, there's a lot of people now eating a lot more rice, pasta, dairy products, because they're in the house, milk and these kind of things, yeah. All these products, they build up on the chest, the lungs, yeah. It causes mucus, yeah. It causes the mucus to build up. If anybody gets up in the morning, they're like that, and you want to spit it out or something like that, you got mucus on your chest. You need to clear that out. You need to clear it out. And some of the best ways to clear it out is have a detox. Number one, have a detox. Drink plenty of water, okay? Or you can gargle with salt water. You can just gargle, so the gargle will help clear the throat part as well, okay? Also, eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is good to clear the chest, yeah? You can use cloves as well. Cloves or star anise. Star anise is a good one as well. Ginger. This is what they mentioned. Sometimes I put ginger in my water as well. Ginger and garlic, yeah? Ginger and garlic, yeah? And I know a lot of us, we love our garlic in our foods and all that, but sometimes you put the garlic in your foods. We don't really taste the garlic. It's there, you know it's there, but it hasn't got that strong garlicky taste, you know? But when you grate the garlic, yeah, and then you eat it, it's very, very strong. It's very, very strong. But it's very beneficial. So you're doing the hot pepper as well, good for you, hot pepper. You've got hot pepper sauce or even chili peppers, that's good for the clear the chest as well. So even apple cider vinegar is good as well. Apple cider vinegar, yeah. So there's a combination of foods that you can have pineapple as well. You can have some pineapple. So there's a combination of foods that you can eat, yeah, to help clear the chest in the mornings and during the daytime. So some of the stuff that you should try and consume on a regular basis as well to fight it is like coconut oil, 100% organic coconut oil. Turmeric is very, very good as well. Like I said, ginger, green tea, oranges, elderberry, and oregano, ignacia. You know, there's lots of different things that's good for you out there. And there's things that we all know about the Irish moss and all that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go too much into all the details of all the foods that you eat, but we know what we need to be eating on a regular basis. But if you just focus mostly on the healthy side of the foods, I know some people like the pizza and this and the meats and the whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, but if you do go for that, because this is what we're addicted to, your business, whatever, try and get your water, your lemon, your garlic, your ginger in regular. Clear the chest regular. This is so important in this day and age that we're going through. You know, I'm not going to get too political on the show tonight, but we just got to be mindful of what's going on around us, yeah, and just be mindful of what we're taking on a day-to-day basis. So make up your juices, man. Make up your drinks. Yeah, make up your drink. Even if you're doing like a 500 ml or a litre a day, you know? And even Patrick was talking about the water, the tap water, trying to avoid that. We've got a water filter system. We've got one of the best ones, you know, that's around, water filter, you know? But don't forget, some people around you, they're not following what you're doing, you know? So you still got to be strong within yourself to make sure you're doing what you did for you, you know? Because as they say, if you're in an airplane and there's an emergency, you don't put your mask onto somebody else. You got to put it onto yourself first before you help somebody else. So you got to think about what's good for me rather than thinking about what's good for another person. Because some people, they're not going to believe what you're doing. When some of my friends and family see this, they say, Lyndon, what's that? You know, when I'm drinking this at work, they're looking at me like, what's that green stuff, man? What's that green stuff? And then I tell them, it's spirulina. Oh, spirulina. Okay. So then they know about it, but they don't know how they can use it. You know, they know the benefits of it, but they don't take it because they don't know how to use it. You know? So yesterday I done a live video on my Facebook page. You can see that as well, about the drinks that I've done and some of the foods that I'm doing. So there's more and more things that we're doing at the moment. So there's a lot more to my story, my journey, but I'm keeping it short tonight because we're on this Zoom meeting and I appreciate it. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions they want to answer me, or, you know, I'm open-minded to any questions.
Yeah, there's a question that somebody's put in. What water filter system do you use?
Water. There's a company called Amway. They've got a water filter system called Amway. Yeah, you'll find it on my website. You will. It's a water filter that just cleans the water. It's very. We've had it for years. We've had it for over 20 years. We had water filter system. It's plugged into the house. It is. And for our actual house as well, we've got a water softener as well. Where I live, we live in a country, so our water's hard up here. You know, it's hard. And when you use soap and stuff like that, you could tell the difference when a couple of times I've run out of soap, not soap, salt, yeah, salt for the system, and I wasn't able to get all of it because I was away. And when I had to come back and I showered, the water was so hard, you felt it. Then when we got the salt back into the system, you just feel everything just bubbles up. It just makes your skin feel better. It's just so much better. It does. You know, it's little things that you do, little things. But if you go to my website, theinspireddiabetic.com, I got also for the same company, we do the #1 sales of vitamins and supplements around the world. So there's lots of stuff that we do. We do moringa. The moringa that I do on my website is from Nigeria. It's a certified moringa, and it's one of the best from Nigeria. It is. So I'm affiliated with another company like that. And there's other supplements I have on my website. So there's lots of things we're doing now via my YouTube channel as well, The Inspired Diabetic. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, if you do go on there, please subscribe and do some likes on there, because at the end of the day, we've got to support each other. So to be honest with you, how social media works is really weird. You need the support for people to recognize you and for you to move forward. Yeah, it's really weird how it works, yeah? But we have to do it. This is why I don't feel comfortable saying subscribe to my YouTube channel and make a tick or do a like. It doesn't feel comfortable with me, but sometimes we have to do it, because when you help somebody like myself who's done what I've done, it helps me to help the organizations like the Garvey Village to come down there, do an event down there, you know, and we could just help the community. And that's what it's all about, you know? The video that you guys just showed on there with that doctor, and she said she's coming to the UK. They want to open up to the ADD buildings or whatever. I want to be part of that. You know, I want to be part of these things, because there's so many things that's going on between the cracks. You know, sometimes you got the wider world, but you got to look between the cracks. Yeah, look between the cracks and see where you can fit in. Yeah, for the longer and the bigger picture. People don't see it.
Lyndon.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing? It's Victor.
I do very well. Very good.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Hey, Victor. Yes. Enough respect, man. Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Thank you.
I've known Lyndon a bit, and for a while. See, Personalised, personal. You're doing well, bro. Loving what you're doing.
You too as well.
As you know, I'll just go real quick to everyone in the group. My name is Victor Evelyn. I run a group called the Community Development through Martial Arts. It's based in Lyndon. It's an anti-bullying group, and we teach. I have an academy. The building is 36,000 square foot, and we basically teach from toddlers. We have a nursery there, right up to school leavers and college grads. So it's like we have to teach them our ways, as well as up-to-date ways of going through life. And through martial arts, what we do is try to prevent.
Victor.
Yes,
Victor.
mate.
Do you have a question for the brother?
Yes. Yeah, but I have to make sure that everyone else understands where I'm coming from. Yes, Lyndon. When we're teaching our children the ways how we used to cook our food that our parents taught us, we're using plantain, we're using all the harder breads and all that. We don't know which ones are causing us to get diabetes.
Yeah.
So fine, we've got your book, how to get out of it once we're in it. But like in martial arts, we prevent. So I'd like for you to tell us, how do we keep using our foods that we love to eat, which ones are causing it?
Well, a lot of the hard food.
Lyndon, let me give you another question on top of that. Someone is asking about how do you keep yourself motivated to stick to that healthy eating as well. So if you can answer those two things in one, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. So regarding how to keep the younger children to eat our cultural food, don't forget, a lot of the cultural food that we eat, the yams, the hard food, they're root foods, These are foods that was fed to us from slavery, So we've become addicted to those foods over a period of time.
Carbohydrate,
So we've been addicted. So it's not really part of our culture or our diet. It's just that it was given to us back then, through slave time. So if somebody was to introduce us to other foods now as a young age, you can still get away with eating other foods without our own natural foods. I know we love our rice and peas, our curry goat, macaroni cheese and all that. They can still have that, but have it in moderation. If you can, because don't forget, normally we have the pasta, the rice and peas, the roast potatoes, the fizzy drinks, all on the same plate at the same time. Okay? What we got to learn now is, number one, have smaller portions. Number two, don't have the potato on the same day as the rice. Break it down. Don't have pasta today, don't with the potatoes. You got to know what the carbohydrates are. With the hard-dough bread, to be honest with you, when did I last have hard-dough bread? I had just, as a lockdown, I had some hard-dough bread. I love my hard-dough bread, don't get me wrong. I used to have 3 slices of hard-dough bread in the morning with butter on it, and jam on it. And that was to journey to work. But what I've learned now, I could do without the hard-dough bread. Now I like a sourdough bread, maybe a rye bread or a wholemeal bread. That's me. Do you know what I'm saying? Or granary. And if you really want to reverse your diabetes in that sense, have the hard-dough bread end of the week, end of the month, like it's a reward. So I deserve that. I deserve that.
So the motivation question.
The motivation.
Hold on, because you didn't answer it. The motivation question. Alongside that, what was your weight before and after the 105 days? So can we answer those two things at once? And a short response, please.
My weight was I was 85, 86 kilos before, going up, and I reversed it down to 76 kilos. 76 within that period of time I was. And also, how do I stay motivated? Don't get me wrong, to stay motivated, you have to be conscious about your motivation or what your goal is. At that time, if you're going through the period where you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes, to stay motivated, what are the consequences of you being diabetic or staying diabetic? So that's the motivation factor. So put into a program. Don't forget, type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle. It's not a life sentence. You can do it because it's only what you put in your mouth. It's a mindset.
Thank you.
That's a simple format. You gotta be strong for a short period of time. Look now, after what, 2 years, I mean, diabetic free, I'm cool. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, it's amazing, but I still maintain some of the habits that I have when I was reversing it. Like my okra water, my bitter gourd water. I don't do fizzy drinks anymore.
Okay. Go ahead, June. June.
Oh, hi. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for inviting me, Royston.
Hi, June.
Personally, I'm in a scary place because I was diabetic for probably over 4 years.
Yeah.
Nobody told me. So of this year, I've managed to lose over 4 stone, but I'm struggling with like sugar addiction, the dizziness, stomach problems. I'm on the metformin. Now, if I come off the metformin, say today or tomorrow, it's a scary place because because I was under stress just the other day, it's just shot up to probably over 20.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you do there?
Listen, I was probably diabetic 4 or 5 years. I had to go back to 1980 to find out if I was diabetic when I was reading my story, because I had not the symptoms through those years. June, one of the things I'm going to say to you, okay, is mentally, you have to be strong and have the guidance, yeah, to know what you want to achieve. Yeah, okay. If you said to yourself, number one, I want to come off the metformin, yeah, I don't tell you to come off the metformin. You got to do that with your doctor, yeah, okay. But one of the things that's going to help you come off the metformin is what you're eating, yeah. Cut down on your meats, number one, yeah, and just do. If you love your meats, yeah, listen.
It's not so much meat. Mine is sweet. It's sweet things. Everything.
I know, but it's a combination of things, yeah. I know, but find out what you need to do is find some things that's not so sweet that you like, that you enjoy, yeah. Get a list of foods, yeah. Get a list of foods like flavonoid foods. Flavonoid foods are foods that heals and nourishes the pancreas, yeah. I know you may like your milk chocolate. Yeah, okay, I'll be in there. Yeah, you could try dark chocolate. Yeah, like 70 cents. I know. I was like that as well. Don't get me wrong. I was like that as well. But after a period of time, your palate changes.
Okay. Yeah.
Your palate changes, but you only like 2 cubes a day. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, find berries that you like to eat. Yeah. Like blueberries, strawberries. Dark berries, yeah, okay, even like lettuce or watermelon. Create something that you can just wash and pick. If you like, what did I have yesterday? Oh, pomegranates, yeah. I done a video yesterday, me mashing down a pomegranate. So the pomegranate, I'll mash the pomegranate, I leave it there. I'm sitting down, I pick at it. You know, a healthy pick. Cut up some fruit, like kiwi's good as well. Kiwi's good.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah. What you should do, add cinnamon in your daily diet. Add things like cinnamon, fenugreek, moringa, yeah, to your regular diet. Yeah. Do you like the okra or the bitter gourd?
I'll try everything.
Yeah. Good. So all these ingredients. Let me just read them. Let me just read so I don't forget nothing. Yeah. The bitter gourd.
You need to hurry up, yeah, brother.
Okra, fenugreek, apple cider vinegar, turmeric. Yeah. Okay, the moringa, all these, they help reduce blood sugars naturally, yeah? So implement those into your diet every day, yeah, okay, every day, and be disciplined with it, yeah, okay? And just cut down on the sweet things temporarily. Do you know what I'm saying? Be strong about it. Be strong, you have to.
Yeah, got to be real.
Because if you don't do it, June, yeah, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to feel this pain or ache and say, sugar, I don't feel good.
Already feeling it.
And then it's because of what you're eating. Do you know what I'm saying? You know? But if you can get spirulina, get spirulina as well. That's good for you. Yeah? Spirulina is good for you. But I'll be honest with you. I believe in you because I know you can do it. Yeah? It's a short period of time. I know you might be going through some stuff now. We all go through stuff, no matter what. Yeah? But to get your diabetes down and to get off that medication, do it for a short period of time so you can deal with it. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to contact me anytime, June, just give me a call or just send me a message, yeah?
Okay,
yeah?
I've been messaging you for a little while now. So
okay.
Look out for me.
I will do, no problem, no problem.
Okay.
Keep it up.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, Lyndon. Thank
Pleasure.
you. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, and don't forget, there is some questions along the side which can be as I said, we put to you at the end. We've got one more presentation to go, and I think that everybody got a lot from what you said. Diet, the water, and putting everything together. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Lyndon. Next presentation is our sister, also a member of the Garvey Village, and name is Kesheni, and she's going to be talking about behaviour, how we can control different behaviours. Have I got that right, or have I got it wrong?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I hope you can hear me from this distance.
Okay. So,
okay.
Everybody, Kesheni, the screen is yours.
Hi, everyone. So, yes, one of the things that we now need to be closer into as we go towards ourselves is about our behaviors and our feelings. So in this, what we are using is identifying feelings as negative energy charge. Now, in our language, we recognize feeling. We can feel the vibe. That's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are behavioral feelings. Okay, so we're going to look at a chart in a moment, and we're going to actually dedicate these next, I've been told I've got 25 minutes, so I know we're running a bit late, so if you have to leave, I appreciate, but let's do a session and put yourself in the space that you're going to use what is here and come out at the other end. And it's one of the aspects that arises with Obatala. Obatala wakes up to create 200 civilizing customs. So the civilizing of ourselves is the Ifa says that what you are in the morning is different from what you reach in the evening. So it means that through the day, the experience of the day and your engagement in the day and your behavior in the day is also refined. That at the close of day, there's a shift, a movement, however subtle, but appreciative, that you can appreciate yourself. So as we work now towards ourselves, particularly our Ori, which is our head, we're going to do some work. We're going to do some frontal occipital holding, and we're going to use affirmation. So have pen and paper, have some water, give yourself a little bit of space, because I'd like you to stand up and do some cross patterning. We're going to use techniques that you can work with at home and work with, and you're dedicating these aspects that you're using to doing the clearing today, now, so that it is gone. Accept to know that you are empowered enough to release and let go now. And that change is there. Yes? So that is where you need to be now. And that means you need to begin with being 100% willing. So take a moment for yourselves. Take a deep breath. Release the breath. Close your eyes and see a number. Where are you now? What percent are you willing? You might have just come to listen. You want to be writing notes, blah, blah, blah. Just put a number to it. If it's 0, great. But be honest. And with just a deep breath, you're going to see that number reduce to 0 negative. So breathe in And the dial goes down from that number right down to 0. That's what you're seeing. 0, negative energy charge, NEC. Gone. The 100%, what you need to reach, how willing are you now? Where is that digit? Have you shifted to 100 already? Or 80, 40? Move the dial, breathe in. And as you breathe out, move the dial right up to 100. There you are. 100% positive, 0% negative. Take a deep breath and release. How is everyone? All right? I can only see Auntie Jean at the moment, so, and I can see someone else, Judith and Patricia. So that's a screen that I'm seeing. So you're going to be telling me that everything is good to go. Okay, so Royston, if you wouldn't mind, could we bring up the behavioral barometer conscious level 1, the red one? Are we able to share that screen? Right. No, not that one. That's the blue. Keep going and stop. That's the one. So behavioral barometer. You can see that that's the conscious level. And there are 3 layers to it: acceptance, antagonism, willing, anger, interest, resentment. And that is what's consciously where we are the last 28 days or so, give or take a month, us if we think. So these are what we're using it words. So what I actually asked a question about what would be the actual level, emotion and being, feeling and being that we would work with. And it's come up again. It's the same one as we did on the first one, interestingly enough. But this time it pointed itself as, because I asked the question, what do we need now for us to go forward in the movements of fulfilling our destiny in the best possible way? And there it was, it came, and it was gentle. So now we're going to look at what is preventing us from being gentle. In Yoruba culture, that is the aim of life. That is the aim of being, is to be of good and gentle character. Whatever your economic circumstance, whatever your position and life experience, yourself is being of good and gentle character. So this is what we are civilizing custom. This is what we are refining. This is what we are beginning the day with and closing the day differently. So if we could go to the blue conscious level, subconscious, so subconscious. Interestingly enough, yeah, not that one. Keep going. Keep going. Yes, here. When I was saving it as a JPEG, I was writing subconscious, but I wrote sun-conscious. So I quite like that. So it's a sun-conscious level. And in a sense, it does really sit at the center, which is where the solar plexus is. So you can see that there's a subconscious level. And this, again, it has 3 levels. And this really is the experience and the emotion that it has, is what you call last 7 years or so. Okay, so this is 7 years, and we've seen that at the conscious level it's coming out in a way in the last 28 days. And then the next one, if you wouldn't mind, Royston, which is, keep going, yes, here, go back. Thank you. Here, the yellow is the body. This is where the feeling sits in the body. This is how the body is feeling the emotion. So, and this is from conception and the body level. So it's DNA, which is generational. So if we can go to conscious level 1, and you can see the last one is no choice. So if you, thank you, this one, perfect. So this is where we are now. So to be gentle on our conscious level, we need to be open. And if you can see under acceptance, you will see on the inside, there's 2 lists, 4 on each list. The list that begins approachable, then it says acceptable, then worthy, then open. So so yes, if you bring the cursor to open, that's it. That's the one there, open. So in order to get to that gentle in our body level, our attunement, we need to be open. And what is preventing us from being open is feeling. If you go to the other side, if you come down, opposing. That's what is preventing the open from taking place. Okay, so take a deep breath, drink some water, and you're going to do some cross nasal breathing. I think the brother Marlon has shown you about breathing in through the left and breathing out through the right. And you're going to do 3 times each side, and I'm going to keep it as a pace. Is everyone okay with that? Is everyone clear? Are we good? Any comments? Good? I can only see you, Jean, so I'm accepting Jean as the way going forward. And so you're breathing in, so you can close off your right nostril. Just put your thumb over your right nostril to close it off if you want. And that's just kind of give you more access for the left. And you're breathing in on the left. So breathe in on the left. And hold. And breathe out on the right. And go back to the left. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. And now you're going to breathe in on the right. Breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. Breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. Last one, breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. And now you're breathing in on the left. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. Back to the left. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. And again, breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. Back to the right. Breathing in on the right. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out on the left. And breathe in on the right. Follow me. Hold. Breathe out on the left. Last one on the right. Breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. Last one on the left. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. Follow me. Breathe in on the left. Hold. Breathe out on the right. Breathe in on the right now. Last lot. Breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. Breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. Last one. Breathe in on the right. Hold. Breathe out on the left. And just breathe normally. Okay, well done. So you have the affirmation. What is the word here is opposing. So you can write this down. I release and let go. Feeling opposing. I release and let go, feeling opposing. And you're going to say this frontal occipital holding. So, Jean, I think you were someone that was going to demonstrate. So you have your neck, and as you raise your neck, as you raise your hands under your neck, the brain stem enters into the spinal cord, and you're cupping that when the skull starts to become a bit round. So it's not the entire neck, it's the base of the skull, where the skull, the bone starts to be, and there's just the nape, that bit that is dipped. Sometimes we put white powder, efun, there as a protector. So you're covering that, and it's the front of your frontal eminences, your head, your third eye area, and you're holding that. So you're going to say 3 times, I release and let go, feeling opposing. I release and let go, feeling opposing. Breathe. I release and let go, feeling opposing. Take a deep breath and breathe out. Relax your hands and come back. And now, I am now being open. I am now being open. I am now being open. So breathe in, frontal occipital holding. I am now being open. I am now being open. I am now being open. And breathe in. And as you breathe out, release your hands. Okay, well done. Royston, if you could put the next one up, which is the single blue one, which is subconscious level 1. That one, thank you. So where this bounces to, so on the conscious level, we know that we have to be open. We are now being open. On the subconscious level, we are removing the hostility of vindication, vindictive. We're removing vindictive in order to be trusting. So you can write that down. The enthusiasm of being trusting. We're bringing to 100%, and we're bringing the hostility of feeling vindictive down to 0. Everybody got that? And this time, have your water. And if it's probably better to have a cup, because you may need more water later, but sorry, I didn't make you aware of that, I'm afraid. So if you can have a cup, and then don't fill it to the top, have it halfway or just below halfway, and you're going to pray into that water. And you're going to pray to yourself into that water that you are now clearing and removing feeling vindictive. And you ask your high self, you ask your divine, that this is what is achieved by drinking this water. And you drink the water. Good. Well done. And you're now going to use frontal occipital holding. I release and let go, feeling vindictive. I release and let go, feeling vindictive. I release and let go, feeling vindictive. Breathe in You can keep your holding your hand, or in fact, relax your hands and just shake and put them back. And now you're going to say, I am now being trusting 3 times. So breathe. I am now being trusting. I am now being trusting. I am now being trusting. Okay, good, well done. And Royston, if you could bring the next one up, which is yellow, the light yellow one, attunement indifference. Yes. So, no, go back. Yes, this one. So this is where gentle is, in the body. It is our body that is giving us the message that we need to be gentle. It is our body that needs to be gentle. Our personal body, if you want, begin with yourself, and then you know the natural extensions of the family body, the home body, the community body, the global body, the body of the earth, and our connection to it. And then it's self again that is present. So we are being called to be attuned to being gentle. That's the attunement. It's an attunement tool, if you want. Being gentle is a way of being in attunement. So what does it mean to you to be in attunement? Because what is preventing it is feeling destructive, the indifference of feeling destructive. You see? There's a lot out there to make us vex. You understand? There's a lot out there pressing I buttons. But you see, we are of a gentle nature that can just collapse things, bring them to rubble. Not by feeling destructive, but by being gentle. So where is that in our lives? You know, in Africa, they have these that they call enemies of progress. They will just destroy something. They will just scratch a car for so. Just mash it for so. Destruction for destruction's sake. And it is an indifference. Indifference is so unattractive. And imagine that indifference manifests itself through the body, and body language is so key. And so what we are removing now is destructive. So you need to be on your feet. So if you can maybe come back to me, and I will show it and see on the camera. Is it possible to come to my picture? So I need a bit more distance, don't I? So let me see if I can do that and get a bit more distance. So that, okay, so you're taking your right hand and you're raising your left knee. Right hand to left knee. And you're taking your left hand to your right knee. Right hand to left knee. Left hand to right knee. Right to left knee. Right hand, left hand to right knee. And we're going to do it in count 6, and then we're going to go ipsilateral. No, this is ipsilateral. Then we're going to go homolateral. Watch. Well, do. Right to left knee. 1, 2, to the right, to the left. 3, to the right. 4, to the left. 5, to the left. 6. Now you're going to go same side. Left, left. Right, right. Left, left. Right, right. And you're going to do that 6 times. And they're going to just, you're going to meld those. So we're going to do 6 again. Right to left. Cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same side. 2, 3, 4. Watch me, Jean. 5, 6. Cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left, left. Left, left. 1. Right, right. 2. Left, left. 3. Right, right. 4. Left, left. 5. Right, right. 6. Cross. Right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left, left. Right, right. Left, left. Right, right. Left, left. Right, right. Left, left. Right, right. Cross to the right. Cross. 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 Just keep crossing now for a little while. Right to left, left to right. Raise the knee and relax, breathe. Okay. So any effort that you made towards that, good stuff. You did your best. If you didn't do anything at all, that was your best. You're doing what you have to do. It's always good. We come from a place of, what did Asa Hilliard? A place of excellence. We begin by being towards excellence. That is always where we are going. That's why we are excellent at what we do. Okay, so now we're going to do the figure 8 with our eye. These are called eye modes. So take your fingers, 2 fingers, and trace. Just come to the center of your nose. Take a deep breath. Come to the center of your nose. I'm just putting it on my computer that I can watch the time. Come to the center of your nose, and you're going up and just above the eyebrow to the left. Stroke as you come down. You're going to go under the eye. Just with 2 fingers, you're tracing the eye and you're coming up to the center. At the center now, you're going to your right, just above the eyebrow, and you're tracing the eyebrow all the way and following round the eye, underneath the bottom eyelashes, and you're coming back to the center of the nose. So you're doing the infinity symbol in your eyes. These are called eye modes, and your eyes are following. So follow your fingers. Go. So you're starting from center of the nose. Everybody ready? Take a deep breath. Trust in what you're doing, and whatever it is that you're doing is bringing you the results. You can catch up and so on, but be intending of whatever it is this is, be intending for it to do what it has to do in your best way. So the center of the nose, you go up and you're going to the left and you're tracing the eyebrow. Follow your fingers with your eyes. So you're coming to the left, follow your fingers, and so your eyes are now towards the extreme left, both your eyes, of course, and you're coming down. Follow your fingers as they trace around the eye. And you're coming up to the center of the nose and follow your fingers as they go towards the right now. Trace around your eyebrow, follow it round, be gentle. Come down, follow the shape of the eye under the bottom eyelid, and you're coming back to center. And breathe in and breathe out. And the affirmation is, I release and let go of feeling destructive. Okay, so frontal occipital holding. Take a deep breath. I release and let go feeling destructive. I release and let go feeling destructive. I release and let go feeling destructive. Take a deep breath. Release the hands. And come back, frontal occipital holding. I am now being gentle. I am now being gentle. I am now being gentle. And breathe in. And as you breathe out, just relax your hands. So you've made the journey from feeling the antagonism that was opposing to being open consciously. You've reached your subconscious and instructed it and removed the hostility that came out of feeling vindictive, because you are now being the enthusiasm of being trusting. And the subconscious experiences now in and of themselves have a different dynamic, whatever experience it is attached to. And then your body, you've informed it that feeling destructive, that the indifference of feeling destructive is no longer necessary, and that your attunement is now gentle. Did we do that? Gentle. Did we say we are now being gentle? Did we do that? Yes. So accept and know these things. So you are now, so you can repeat now, you're taking the affirmation away, which is, you can do both over, the next day or so, the next few days, you can do that. And whenever things come up, you can use the affirmations. So you are, I release and let go feeling opposing. I release and let go feeling vindictive. I release and let go feeling destructive. I am now being open. I am now being trusting. I am now being gentle. Now, I forgot, I want you to have, so the open is about being in acceptance. So you can add, I am now being the acceptance that is open, for example. So you can start to work your own affirmation for yourself, for example. The enthusiasm of being trusting. So enthusiasm is the heading of trusting. And the attunement that is gentle. And so I release and let go feeling the antagonism that is opposing. So you're using antagonism. That's what that element of antagonism is, what you've released and removed and let go. And then the same again, the hostility of feeling vindictive.
Hi, Sister Kesheni.
Yes.
By time, we're going to have to...
Okay, so final. And the indifference of feeling destructive. The indifference of feeling destructive. So everybody take a deep breath. And breathe out nice and gentle. Take a drink of water. I would suggest if you've got any cleansing items, salts or herbs that are for cleansing, or you've got a cleansing lotion, spiritual cleansing lotion of some kind, you can use that to just cleanse yourself off tonight. And when you sleep, continue with frontal occipital holding. If you want to do that for the next 7 days, up to 21 days, you can do that in the morning before you get out of bed, and at night once you've got into bed to sleep. And you can do it at any time during the day. So that's something that you're taking away. I don't know if there's going to be a list of this, but I can send, there's some information that's about frontal occipital holding. You can remember the cross patterning. You drank water and you did eye modes and you did cross nasal breathing. So these are aspects now that you can start to include in your life as toning through the day. You get a bit wishy-washy in the middle of the afternoon.
Thank you.
Some cross nasal breathing, blah, blah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I don't know, there's no time for questions. I don't know if you want to do any questions, but there's no time, I don't think.
There are probably 2 questions and then we need to move to closing.
I see, all right.
Okay, thank you so much, Sister Kesheni.
Yes.
Interesting.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. And
Welcome.
has anybody got any quick questions? Any questions quickly?
Greetings, everyone, Auntie Jean and everybody.
Greetings.
Oh, it's such a divine pleasure. I have accepted. Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. I would love to be able to follow up somehow.
Yes, I will be doing, in terms of this session, I will be doing some sessions on Zoom that you can be part of. They're going to be longer and they're going to involve some creativity. So they're going to be sessions that I'll be guiding you directly through the process. So, maybe you give yourself an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And we sit, we chat, and we're going to do the clearings of stuff. Okay. So, I'm going to give you my email address, and then you can.
The details are here.
Oh, it's available. Okay, good.
So you can take a picture of the screen. You can screen dump the screen, whatever. All the contact details for our speakers are here.
Fantastic.
I think Lyndon wanted to ask a question.
No, you answered it. I got the links. When she's going to be doing the exercises and stuff like that, I'll be interested to know when.
You're a bit low, Lyndon.
Oh, sugar. Again.
Is it okay? No more questions?
You need to remove the list from this, Royston, so we can see.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know when she's going to be doing her next exercise classes or whatever. Yeah, it'd be good to be part of it.
Well, if you email me, I will send you some information. I'm looking to do something not next week, the week after.
Okay.
So I think it's around the 11th, that week.
Okay. Are you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook, Kesheni Art, and I'll have a page which will be about it. It's called Love Unleashed.
Okay, fine. Or just put it in the comments at the bottom, the chat room.
Right, okay.
Yeah, just write afterwards. You can do it afterwards if you want. It's no problem.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to do these things, but yes, okay.
Bottom right-hand corner.
In the chat, I'm going to write it, yes.
Yeah, suggestions of some people, what they could do.
So you're one of the first people to be seeing this, and it's a great platform. I've got some guests and people that I'm working with. I'm working in collaboration with 2 people involved in the fashion industry, and one is a local dressmaker, a queer, and the other person is also Sandrine, who does things. So there'll be a platform that you can go through a process of looking at sewing and doing those things, and these are free sessions for the people who attend. So it's a nice way of engaging, tuning ourselves, doing stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any final questions?
I was going to say, with the floor is open to any questions. I think, Lyndon, you had a question for Patrick earlier on.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may.
Yes.
What is your name, brother?
Yashmal from the Pata Council.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I had a comment to make when Patrick was speaking and the other brother, Lyndon.
Yeah.
There are systems we can use. For example, if some people that have a little plot of land at the back of the house, we can plant food and know what we are planting and come out and sell it to our community, because we do not plant food ourselves. We don't know what's in the food. So that's a suggestion that we can do in order for us to raise capital in our community, because you can see they're doing it in Dalston, but we need to do it for ourselves. We plant organic food and we sell it for the right price so we can know what we're eating and eat what we're growing.
It sounds like a good idea.
We had a brother on the presentation last week who has a what's it?
Allotment.
Was it in Wood Green?
He does exactly what you've just said, and he's now also looking to develop around delivering what he has, you know, around the country. So we have had that.
Can you put that in a link as well? The person, please.
That was last week. So, you know, if you, yeah. Jean,
or send it to Auntie Jean and she can post it. Send it out to me in WhatsApp, please.
His name is Russ Prince, and the actual sheet that Royston has shown, his name and details are actually on there.
Okay, brilliant.
He's looking for people to help work the land as well, so he can actually show and teach about planting and the reaping and the processing. He delivers fruits and veg. You can see his details there. Russ Prince, fruit, seeds to fruit.
All right, okay.
That's his telephone number, and just said he does deliveries.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can I just say that he's also looking for more men. There's a lot of women who are involved in this, but he's looking for more men. So here's your opportunity.
Yeah, be good. I just need to know where it is. Where is it in London?
South, yes, it's southeast London, in Catford.
Okay.
The trouble if you're coming from north.
No, I don't even live in London.
Okay.
Oh, God.
It'll have to be a day trip.
All
Are you? What part of? Where are you, Lyndon?
I'm in Buckinghamshire.
Oh, the other side of the world. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing goes on over there. It's all right.
Only me.
Yeah.
In the wilderness.
Okay. The question for Patrick was about kale.
All right. Yes, kale. Yeah. Is Patrick still there? But yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
Everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with kale. What I was really talking about was if it was unorganic, if it was sprayed with obviously pesticides, then there would be a problem. You see, but kale in and of itself is nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Okay.
Personally, I love black kale.
Yeah.
Question with rice, black rice. How does that compare with the white rice, the brown rice?
Again, if it's organic, it's fantastic. But now there's a problem with brown rice because, as I was telling you earlier on, is that they're using this pesticides and arsenic and this type of thing. Arsenic is the main problem with rice at the moment. It's really toxic, inorganic arsenic that's causing the problem with people. And so, you're gonna have to change your diet around a bit according to, what food you can get hold of. But, African red brown rice or black rice, if they're organic, there's nothing wrong with them. But again, there is this issue about whether it is organic or not, and what is considered organic. And they're always changing the definition of what is truly organic from one decade to another or 1 year to another.
Thank you. So,
a quick question to Lyndon. Is there any, I know you make your green juices, is there any vegetables that you should not mix together? In other words, is there anything that you shouldn't mix in your juice?
Not really.
I can't, you're unmute.
Sorry?
Yeah, I can hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, not really. I think it's people's choices sometimes, what they like and what they want to mix together. But to mix different things, I know people, they mix so many different things together. It's like, wow, okay. I mean, it's like what I mix together. A lot of people won't even drink it, you know, but it's beneficial. You know, it's beneficial. So I think it's down to the personal individual what they want to mix together. But they got to trial and error and do a bit of research of what they like. That's the most important thing, what they like. So when they eat it, they enjoy it, and what the benefits of that fruit or vegetable is as well. Okay. I think, yeah, for a short period of time, they got to be very disciplined with themselves and just realize it's temporary.
Can I ask, would it be better to be drinking out of glass bottles or the flasks as opposed to plastic bottles?
Glass bottles.
And what about the flasks?
The flask, if it's what's that metal they use for?
Steel.
Stainless steel, yeah, or surgeries. What do they call it, the surgery one? The one that uses surgery? Surgical steel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a company that does it, yeah.
Yeah.
Pots and pans like that.
But not plastic.
No, not plastic.
Okay, Auntie Jean, close, please.
Thank you very much. A big thank you to Ngozi for her information. I know that she's on call. And also a big thank you to Patrick and giving us information that, as I said, we eat and we don't even know what we're eating. But thank you for opening our eyes to arsenic. Brother Lyndon, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure, as always. And Sister Kesheni, thank you so much as well for our exercise and getting up off our butts. So thank you everybody for coming and tuning in and joining us. I hope that you've got something that you can take and use and make yourself even more well than what you are, and to continue to stay well. So thank you. We're back here next week. And also I've got a webinar on Sunday, so you can give me a call on 07961 886 032 if you want more information on that. We do have our brother Kensu, and we also have brother Kensu, and also have allegedly Dave on Sunday, and our brother Yogi Marlon. So thank you all for coming. It's been beautiful, very informative from all the presenters. Thank you.
See you guys next week.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
See you next week.
Share it with your friends and family.
Empress Divine, we'll see you next week.
Okay. Going down.
Jacqueline, thank you for coming.
Speak to you soon, Empress.
Okay.
Lyndon.